It is Friday, January 30th, 2026. And if you are listening to this and you feel like you just ran a marathon, you're probably just sympathetic to the Boston Celtics right now.
Absolutely. What a night.
We are coming off a Thursday night slate that absolutely defined what AWS NBA Rivals Week is supposed to be. I mean, we're talking double overtime.
Massive individual scoring number.
Massive numbers that, and this is key, didn't even lead to wins in some cases. And we're definitely seeing the attrition of the season start to bite.
It was a chaotic night.
Yeah.
Usually in late January, you get these dog days games where everyone is just kind of going through the motions.
Looking ahead to the All-Star break.
Exactly. Thursday was the complete opposite. It felt like playoff intensity across the board.
Yeah.
Every single possession seemed to have a little extra weight to it.
It really did. And that's what we're doing today. We are doing a deep dive into the chaos of Thursday, January 29th. We've got a lot to get through here.
Yeah, box scores, injury reports, some really interesting tactical decision.
For sure. We have to talk about the Celtics surviving 58-minute grinder, the Nuggets pulling a rabbit out of a hat in Milwaukee.
Oh, and the big one. The whole philosophical debate that the Pacers and Thunder game sparked.
The Shai Gilgeous-Alexander paradox. 47 points in a loss. It really challenges a lot of assumptions about how you're supposed to defend a superstar.
That's probably the most interesting tactical discussion we're going to have today.
Agreed. We'll also touch on the Devin Booker injury news out of Phoenix and a very cool moment of history coming up for Chicago Bulls fans this weekend.
But where do we even start?
I want to start with the heavy lifting. The Atlantic Division brawl. Boston Celtics, Brooklyn Nets. Celtics win 130 to 126, but it took 2 overtimes to get there.
This was the definition of a scheduled loss that Boston just refused to accept. You're on the road. It's a rivalry game. The Nets are playing out of their minds.
And Boston just finds a way.
They find a way.
Okay, but hold on. Let me push back on that for a second. I look at the box score and I see 130 points. It was a high-scoring affair. Boston looked sluggish defensively for big stretches.
They did at times.
So is this a concern? Should it really take 58 minutes to beat this Nets team?
In a vacuum?
Hmm.
Maybe. But you have to look at the context here. This is the NBA. Every team has professional scorers, and when a team like Brooklyn gets hot at home during Rivals Week, the momentum swings are they're violent.
So you see it as a positive.
I actually think the big takeaway here is that resilience is a skill. It's not just about luck or, making a few shots at the end.
What do you mean by resilience being a skill? Like, are you talking about conditioning?
Partly conditioning, but it's mostly mental. It's processing speed under extreme fatigue. When you go into double overtime, your legs are completely gone.
Your jump shot gets flat.
It flattens out. You stop elevating on defense. Your brain is screaming at you, it's okay to lose this when we're tired. What Boston showed was the mental capacity to execute complex offensive sets when physically they should have been toast.
So it's the difference between just playing hard and executing while tired.
Exactly. Brooklyn played a phenomenal game. They pushed the pace. But in that second overtime, Boston's execution was just surgical. They didn't settle for bad shots. That's the difference between a good team and a real contender.
Just banking wins, putting deposits in the account for seeding later.
And doing it during Rivals Week adds that emotional tax to it, too. These aren't friendly games. The physical toll of 58 minutes is real, but the emotional toll of almost blowing it against a rival and then saving it, that's huge for the locker room.
Let's pivot to another team that had every excuse to lose last night, the Denver Nuggets. They go into Milwaukee, not an easy place to face the Bucks.
No.
And the headlines are calling them the depleted Nuggets because they are missing key guys. And yet they win 102 to 100.
This was the most impressive win of the night for me, hands down.
Really? More than Boston surviving double OT.
Yes, because of the personnel puzzle. When you take stars out of the lineup, usually the whole offensive ecosystem just collapses.
Right, the gravity is gone.
The gravity is gone. Modern offenses are built around guys like Jokic or Murray creating space. You remove those pieces, and teams often turn into, like, a pickup squad.
Just one-on-one.
All one-on-one because the flow is gone. Denver didn't do that.
They ran their stuff.
They ran their stuff. And they defended at an incredibly high level, holding Milwaukee to 100 points. In 2026. That is absurd.
We have to talk about Julian Strawther.
Yeah.
20 points. He really stepped up. But again, I have to ask, is this sustainable or is this just one of those random nights where a role player gets hot?
It's the next man up cliche, but let's break down why it worked. Strawther isn't just going out there and, freestyling.
Hitting lucky shots.
Yeah, or hitting lucky fadeaways. He's filling a specific role in a system that emphasizes cutting and movement. So when the Bucks defense loads up to stop whoever's left, guys like Strother find these little pockets of space because they know where to be.
So do you think this is a case of Milwaukee underestimating the other guys? Did they walk in thinking, oh, Denver's depleted, we can coast?
There's always a little bit of that human nature. You see the injury report and you just exhale. You think, okay, we don't have to scramble as hard on defense.
Sure.
But I think it's more about Denver's culture. They prove they can win ugly. A 102-100 final score is a wrestling match. It's a 1990s score.
It felt very 90s, lots of clanking rims and just bodies hitting the floor.
And that's the scary part for the rest of the league. We know Denver can win a shootout. We know they have the offense. But proving they can go on the road, missing pieces, and win a defensive grind against a heavyweight like the Bucks,
it sends a message.
it sends a huge signal. It says, we don't need to be perfect to beat you. We just need to be tougher than you.
It raises a tactical question for me, though. When these role players, like Strother, get these huge reps in January because of injuries, does that actually make the team more dangerous in May?
Oh, absolutely vital for May.
Or is it fool's gold because the Stars will just take those minutes back?
No, think about the playoffs. Rotation shrink, right?
Yeah.
You only play 7 or 8 guys. If Strother is your 8th man, and he has the memory bank of, I dropped 20 on the Bucks in Milwaukee in a tight game.
He's not scared of the moment.
He's going to play with a confidence you can't teach.
Okay.
You just can't simulate that pressure in practice. This injury bug might honestly be a blessing in disguise for Denver's depth.
They've won 6 straight road games now. That's not a fluke, that's a wagon.
It is. And doing it on the road is the key indicator. Home wins are nice. Road wins are where you measure your spine.
All right, let's move to the game that had the weirdest statistical profile of the night. The Indiana Pacers go into OKC and beat the Thunder 117-114. But the headline everywhere is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. SGA drops 47 points.
An absolute masterclass.
A masterclass in a losing effort. So I have to play devil's advocate here. We see this a lot in the modern NBA. Massive individual numbers, but the team loses. Is this empty calories? Did SGA just get his stats while the team suffered, or is that an unfair assessment?
I wouldn't call it empty calories because his efficiency is always so high. He's not a guy who takes 40 shots to get 40 points. He's methodical.
Okay.
But I think this game highlights a very specific defensive gamble that the Indiana Pacers took.
Break that down. What did the Pacers do that was different?
It's the let him cook strategy. It sounds completely counterintuitive. You're playing an MVP candidate, and you decide, we are not going to double-team him.
You're basically inviting him to score. That sounds suicidal against a guy like Shai.
You are inviting him to play one-on-one. The logic is this. If you double-team Shai, he's one of the best passers in the league. He'll just spray the ball out to the corners.
And suddenly Chet Holmgren and J-Dub are hitting wide-open threes.
Exactly. The rhythm of their whole offense becomes unstoppable because everyone is touching the ball.
So Indiana said, Shai, you can beat us, but nobody else gets to touch the ball.
Precisely. It's about cutting off the oxygen to the supporting cast. They essentially told him, you can have 47, maybe even 50, but we are going to stay glued to everyone else.
But it worked.
If you look at the box score, it worked. The Thunder's supporting cast couldn't get into a rhythm because they just weren't getting those easy open looks.
That requires so much discipline from the Pacers defenders. It's hard to watch a guy torch your teammate for 47 points and not go help. It's human instinct.
It takes immense discipline. It's psychological warfare against your own instincts. You have to trust the math. You have to say 2 points from Shai is better than a wide-open 3 from the corner.
And they executed on the other end, too.
Credit to Indiana. They withstood the barrage. Putting up 117 on OKC's defense is no joke. They just made the math work.
It reminds me of those old strategies against Jordan in the late 80s. The Pistons or Celtics would just say, okay, Michael gets 40, but nobody else eats.
It's the exact same principle. You're acknowledging you can't stop a superstar completely, so you try to control the damage they do via their teammates. It's a bold strategy.
While we're talking about superstars carrying the load, let's go to Detroit. The Houston Rockets beat the Pistons 111-104. Now, the Rockets had lost 5 straight road games coming into this.
They were spiraling a little bit. And when you're spiraling, you need a stopper. Not necessarily a defensive stopper, but a losing streak stopper.
Enter Kevin Durant.
Kevin Durant. 32 points, 11 of 19 shooting. I mean, we get numb to KD's numbers sometimes because he's been doing it forever, but 11 of 19 is just surgical.
He also climbed to number 11 on the all-time three-pointers made list last night.
He did, which is a great milestone. But the real significance here is the leadership. When you are a young team like Houston, a 5-game losing streak on the road feels like the end of the world.
You start pointing fingers, you press.
Exactly. KD just calmed everyone down. He didn't panic. He didn't force shots. He didn't try to score 50 like Shai. He just took exactly what the defense gave him efficiently and stabilized the ship.
It's interesting contrasting the Rockets and the Thunder here. Both have superstars. One, SGA, went nuclear and lost. The other, KD, was just super efficient and won.
And that's the nuance of the NBA, right? Sometimes 32 points is better than 47 if it comes within the flow and controls the tempo. KD controlled the tempo of that game completely.
We've got to run through a few other results quickly. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Sacramento Kings played a track meet. Cavs win 123-118.
The Cavs are quietly very dangerous in those high-possession games. They looked comfortable running with Sacramento, which is usually a trap for most teams.
And the Pelicans.
Wow.
133 points against the Memphis Grizzlies. They win 133-127. Giving up 133 has to be alarming for Memphis.
It is, but sometimes you just have to tip your cap. The Pelicans were moving the ball beautifully. When New Orleans is clicking like that, they are a nightmare to defend.
And finally, the Raptors took care of business in Portland, 110-98. Just a solid, professional road win.
Yep. Nothing flashy, but for Toronto, getting a double-digit road win is exactly what the doctor ordered. Get in, execute, get out.
Okay, so that's the fun stuff. The buckets, the wins. Now we have to talk about the dark side of this. The injuries. We were watching the Atlanta Hawks beat the Phoenix Suns 110-103, but frankly, does the score even matter?
No. The air completely went out of the building in that third quarter.
Devin Booker.
Yeah.
Steps on Onyeka Okongwu's foot, goes down, has to be helped off, ankle injury.
Oof. Yeah, and every basketball player listening to this just shuddered. We've all done it. You come down, you land on someone's foot, and your ankle just rolls all the way over. It is an instant, sickening feeling.
It looked bad.
It did. And the mechanism of the injury stepping on a foot is so tricky. It can be a simple sprain, you're back in a few days,
Right.
or it can be a high ankle sprain.
And you're looking at 4 to 6 weeks?
At least.
Yeah.
And if he misses that kind of time, I mean, the West is an absolute gauntlet. Is Phoenix built to survive without Booker?
That's the question.
It's a different scenario than Denver. Denver has a system that's been in place for years. Phoenix is much more reliant on the individual brilliance of their stars. You take Booker out, he's their primary playmaker, not just a scorer. And the pressure on everyone else becomes immense. Their margin for error is effectively zero.
The Hawks capitalized immediately, too. They saw the energy drop and they just attacked.
They did. Credit to Atlanta for staying professional. But the story is, that MRI tube in Phoenix today, the entire Western Conference standings could shift based on that one scan.
We will be refreshing our feeds for that update.
Well,
Let's cleanse the palate with something a bit more heartwarming. We have some history happening this weekend in Chicago.
Yeah, this is cool. Saturday night at the United Center.
The Chicago Bulls are retiring the #1 jersey for Derrick Rose.
Man, talk about a what-if story in sports.
The youngest MVP in league history, the hometown kid.
It's going to be emotional. You have to remember the context of 2011. Derrick Rose wasn't just good. He, changed the geometry of the point guard position. Before him, point guards were mostly facilitators.
He was a missile.
He was a missile.
Yeah.
The athleticism, the violence with which he attacked the rim, we just hadn't seen that from a guy his size. Seeing that jersey go up to the rafters, it feels like closure for that era.
It's a celebration of perseverance, too, all the injuries he went through to reinvent himself. But for one night, Chicago is going to remember the peak. The too big, too strong, too fast, too good era.
For sure.
Now, a quick practical note for our listeners on the East Coast. If you are planning to watch the Wizards take on the Hornets on Saturday, check your clocks.
Schedule alert, do not tune in at 7 p.m. You will be watching an empty court.
The game has been moved to noon Eastern time.
Yeah, there's a massive winter storm barreling down on the northeast, so the league is trying to get the game in and get the teams out before the airport shut down. Noon tip-off. Coffee and basketball.
I love a noon tip-off. Great way to start the weekend. Okay, so thinking about the big picture, we are creeping up on the All-Star break, and Thursday night really crystallized a theme for me.
I think I know where you're going with this.
We saw Kevin Durant, part of the Older Guard, stabilize his team and get a win. We saw the Nuggets, with their championship experience, win a gritty game. We saw the Celtics, with their deep playoff DNA, win in double OT.
And on the other side?
On the other side, we saw Shai, the young phenom, put up 47 points and lose.
Yeah.
So I want to leave the listener with this thought. Are we starting to see a shift? Early in the season, young legs can run people off the court, But now that it's late January, is experience starting to trump raw athleticism?
That is the million-dollar question heading into the playoffs. Execution beats energy in the long run. What Denver did, winning 102-100, that is pure execution. That is knowing how to win.
Right.
What Shai did was incredible athleticism and skill, but the team as a whole didn't have the tactical execution to beat Indiana's specific trap.
So the lesson might be, you can be young and talented, but you better get old and wise pretty fast if you want to win in the spring.
You can't speed up experience. That's the old saying. And Thursday night proved it might still be true.
We will see if the young guys can punch back this weekend. Thank you for diving deep with us. Make sure you check the feed tomorrow. We'll be breaking down the weekend slate and keeping you updated on that Devin Booker news.
Stay curious, everyone.